Hello! Today we are going to create this awesome and easy effect in Photoshop where you make text that has your image inside of it. So I'm going to shut this down and we're going to get started pretty quick. You're going to go ahead and hit the Create New button. Then go ahead and select Photo. And let's see, I want this to be laying down, so I think we need it to be in landscape, but I don't want it to be 2 to 3 inches. Let's have it be 4 by 6. Make sure that it's selected to that landscape over here, and then also make sure your background is white. Then you're going to name it Text Effect and your last name. I'm going to put Miles, and then hit Create. All right, look at this. Here we go. So the first thing that we're going to do now that we have this started is create a new adjustment layer. So we're going to create a new layer. Let's call this gradient adjustment layer. All right, so I'm going to make sure it's selected, and I'm going to come on down to the new adjustment layer menu. It's that circle with the slash through it. Click it and go on up to the very top of the menu. It's not the very first thing, but select gradient. It's the second thing down. Go ahead and click within this box here that says gradient and choose black and white. So now I'm going to go with here. Yeah. Make sure it's solid. All right, and then hit OK. You're going to come back here, and I want it to have like a circle in the center so that it's kind of radiating out, kind of like that. So I'm going to select the radial style, and then I am going to crack the scale up a little bit. I'm just going to double it to 200. It'd be kind of a cool background for what I'm doing. And then I'm going to hit OK. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go over to the toolbar menu and select our text tool. It's right here. You can also find it just by hitting the T key on the keyboard. You can go right up to the very top here and change the font that you're using. It'll say what it is and then give you an example right over off to the side. And it should have just a ton of fonts for you to choose from. I am going to try and go with something simple here, something simple that I can pronounce for this example. So I'm going to go with Arial Black. And then I'm just going to select right where I want to have it be, and I want it in the center. So I'm going to maybe change the font size down so it's a little easier to read as I'm going. Let's put it at 100 just to start because I want it to fill the majority of this area. So my picture that I pre-selected is of the beach. So I'm just going to write beach and then period. Okay, you can't see it because it's not appearing, but that's because I need to use this move tool or select V on my keyboard to center it. So there we go. What is this extra little thing right here? All right, I'm going to go back to my text tool or T. And figure out what that is. Why does it have a P? Okay. Oh, because I forgot to delete out the example text. So now I'm going to just write beach. And I'm going to put a period just because what we're going to do is have our image appear through here. And it's just going to show more of my picture. So again, now that I have it typed out, I'm going to just move it, kind of center it. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and come on down. Make sure you're on the beach layer. I'm going to select this FX menu on the bottom of the layers pane. So select it, and now I'm going to go ahead and add a drop shadow. So select drop shadow, it's the last thing there. You can change the opacity up here and have it, as you can see, it changes right off to the side. You can see how changing the opacity kind of brings it there, takes it away, and I kind of I want it to be a thicker opacity because I do want my picture of the beach to be a highlight. So I'm going to change it to about 78%. So do I need to change the distance? Let's make it really big, small. Kind of like that. And then the spread, you can see how big the shadow is going to be. Whoa, that's a huge spread. I'm just going to have it be kind of the same as the first one. Let's see what we should do with the size. And again, this, when you're doing this part, it's all up to your preference on how you like it. I'm going to have mine all be in a row there. Anyway, I'm going to select OK. I like how that looks. I think that looks good. All right, so now I'm going to get my image that I'm going to put inside of my texts. So if you haven't already got your image, you probably should go find one in your Google Photos and download it. But I've already done that, so I'm just going to hit open. And I thought it was a really cool picture that I took at the beach. Some might say it's not the coolest picture, but I liked it, so whatever. Anyway, once you've got your picture opened up, you're going to hit on the lock in the layers pane and just turn that lock off so you can work with your image. Make sure you have your move tool selected or hit the V key. You're just going to drag this over to your other project and just throw it down. I'm going to make this a lot smaller so that when I'm working with it, I can choose a little more easily what I want to be within the text. Do I want it to be the beach? Do I want it to be the foam? Do I want it to be the ocean? Like, what part of this picture do I want to really appear in the text? All right, so I've got it just kind of not centered, but I have it where I want it. So I'm just gonna hit return to put it where it needs to be. And it's gonna rename it as layer 1. You can name this just a picture. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and right click on this, or if you use the MacBook, just use 2 fingers and push down. And I'm going to create what's called a clipping mask. So it's pretty far down here, but select create clipping mask. Now I'm going to make this bigger so I can see it. But I am just going to drag it to make sure that the part that I want is actually on the text. I should probably put more with sand, the part with the sand on it, just because then it's more obvious that it's a beach. It's too much, too much. And then you just adjust it to exactly where you want it to be. I think that's all right. In retrospect, I should have chosen like a more sandy photo. But for example's sake here we go. That's kind of cool. You can see like the foam on the sand, or not the foam. Well, it is foamy. It's foam-esque. Ooh, there we go. There's some sand and water. So it's pretty obvious there that it's the beach. Okay. Well, I am going to stop it right here and just go ahead and select outside, or you could just hit return. Either way. But that is how you create a text that has your picture within it. Maybe we should have that. Ooh, that looks nice. All right, I gotta be done. I gotta walk away from this. To save it, you just go ahead and go File. Again, you've already renamed it, but you want to make sure you know where you've saved it. So again, you can save it to your Creative Cloud files. I'm going to, or if it's easier for you to just find it on the desktop, just change where you're saving it so you can save it to the desktop and turn it into Google Classroom that way. I want to save it though to my Creative Cloud so I can access it later and mess with it, because clearly I'm not 100% happy with where it is right now. But that's my example. Now you can go ahead and turn it in and just think about all the different things you could do. How if you had a completely different background, how cool this could be. But again, we just used a really simple black and white just so we had something really quick to go with. But anyway, I'm excited to see what you create. Be sure and share them to me.